you all are doing very well. I am very late on this video and you guys gave me a lot of questions and I got a little bit intimidated and I got very behind with my work. So vlogging is always my last priority. That's why I kind of had to push it off a little bit. But I do have all of your guys' questions. Just a reminder, this vlog is going to be about London life, masters. The first question that I have, a little bit of background. Firstly, I think I've told you guys this before, but I am doing my master's at Imperial College Business School in London. I'm doing a Master's of Science in Marketing, Strategic Marketing. And my undergrad I did at McGill University in Canada in Montreal, and I did Strategic Management, which is basically like for consulting, and I did a minor in Classical Arabic. I always knew that I wanted to go into marketing, which is why I'm doing this master's. I know a lot of people don't really go to do their master's in a subject like marketing, which is fine, to each their own, but I never studied it and I was really curious to learn about it. So obviously in marketing, it's a little bit different. So at the end of our year, we have 3 different options of things that we can do. So the first option is we can do a work placement. So that's basically like an internship where you get credit. And the issue with that is that you have to find it yourself. The second option that we have is to do a case study. Case study is, I think, like just an in-depth exterior evaluation of marketing from some company. I'm not sure, haven't looked into it. Number 3, the other option is to do a consulting project. So you're paired, my university, Imperial, they'll pair us with an employer and we basically try to solve and consult on whatever issue they have. So no dissertation process from me, thank God. Usually, from what I know, dissertations are within another kind of program. It's like postgraduate taught, or there's like 2 kinds, but not mine, thank God, because I do not want to write a dissertation. So my program is split into even smaller streams this year, I think, because of COVID. I would say that my classes are about maybe 20-25 people. It's a little bit hard because everyone's spaced out, but yeah, it's about that big. And then the overall batch, I think we're about like 200. Usually in the UK/London, admissions are rolling. The earlier you apply, the bigger your chances are of getting into the school, because it obviously demonstrates more interest. And so if I were you, I would apply now. If you know you want to do a master's program, then definitely apply as soon as you can. But you have really until like May, usually for most programs, but I would definitely look into the deadlines for whichever program you're applying to directly. I'm not sure, honestly. I think, so I applied right before lockdown, or I think lockdown had just started, so I don't think that people really moved as quickly. So I'm not sure if it was as competitive. I think that they had the ability to expand the class sizes because of the online thing. So with that, I think that maybe it was less competitive because they were able to open up more slots because you had the option to do my master's online. I am not 100% sure about that, to be honest. I don't think I can speak on that. So I'm a Canadian citizen, but I'm a US green card holder. So I was able to get loans, federal loans from the government, and my tuition is about 29k pounds. I think it comes out to about 35k USD. So I got the loans. Right now there's no interest on loans, so I'd recommend getting it unless you have no problem coming up with like 35k USD cash. So for rent, the annoying thing here is that as an international student, you typically have to pay 6 months up front. That is a big figure for you know, a normal person. And in my apartment, they asked for 3 months up front. So I had to ask my parents for that. So they helped me out. And then in terms of paying for stuff, so I do work full time. I still have my clients that I'm managing in the US, which is why I'm up at odd hours typically. And I pay for all of my expenses. So I haven't paid for my rent yet because we had to prepay. And I haven't paid for my school yet, but I should start paying off my loans as soon as I can. So in terms of budgeting, I think I was very confused as to how much I would be spending here. So I kind of took the first month to kind of scope out and feel out how much I would be spending. And then from there, I was able to get a better idea. I think I do Honestly, it's so different because of lockdown, right? So for the first month, because I was in quarantine for 2 weeks, obviously I barely spent anything. I mean, I spent a little bit on food, but that was it. And I haven't really been shopping and stuff like that. In my first month, I spent about 1,000, but that was like, there was a long Uber from the airport and things I had to buy for my apartment. So it was a bit of an unusual month, but I'm trying to keep it under 1,000, to be honest. And I'm obviously a little bit confused because I'm paying for myself. Imperial culture, to be honest, I am not 100% sure because it is a very weird situation right now with COVID. I have a very good friend who went to or two very good friends who went to the Imperial program last year, and I think it was good. I think like everyone kind of went out together, they hung out. It wasn't a very competitive atmosphere. The campus is gorgeous, and I think the people are very international. There is a reputation that everyone is like a little bit spoiled and like super rich. It's like a rich kid school, I think, is the reputation. I haven't really come across that in the marketing program, to be honest. Or maybe they're just my good people. GMAT GRE was a supplementary thing for my application. I was thinking about doing it because I wasn't super fond of my GPA from university. It was okay, it was fine, but not fantastic. And I started to prepare for GRE because it was easier on the math side of things, which is my weak point. And I started to prepare, but then I got in, so then I didn't have to do it. So as I said, my GPA wasn't the hottest. I think that a big reason as to why I got into the program was because I very clearly demonstrated my passion for marketing. And I was able to demonstrate that through my hobbies and passions, and then certain things that I studied. Like I did a study abroad program in Brazil while I was at university that was centered around marketing in global contexts. How I made my application more attractive additionally was the application wasn't anything crazy. It was pretty small. There was this one section though that you had to say like, what would you do if you could do anything kind of thing. And I basically talked about integrating my love for South Asia and heritage properties and like ethical tourism within South Asia and marketing. I put two and two together, and I think it was pretty strong. I think it showed that like I have ethics and values, but I also really love this kind of career. So there was an interview, but it was like a higher view style. It was like a recorded one, which is absolutely horrible, horrendous. If you've ever done one of those, they're the worst. US masters that are more like humanities and essays and stuff like that. So it's like basic application questions. It's like name a few skills that you feel like you're lacking. I said stuff like analytics and like hard skills within marketing, and that I was looking to gain that from this program. And then after that, a few weeks went by, and then I got an interview. The interview, I hated it. I don't even know what I said, but I'm usually pretty okay in interviews. That was it. I waited a few more weeks and I got it. UK and Canada have very similar application processes. They're very just like basic, like grades, information. They care mostly about grades and your like experience. You also have to give your CV. I didn't have the best GPA. Actually, if I'm gonna be honest, I was just below the minimum requirement for this program. I had a fail on my transcript for my first year of uni, even though I retook the class and got an A, because I told you guys before that I developed test anxiety and I didn't know what it was. In my first year, I had an anxiety attack on my exam, and then even though I petitioned to have it taken off, like many other kids did, mine didn't get taken off, so that really brought down my GPA. So I was right below the minimum requirement, and I still got into the program. So I don't know how important I would say grades are. I think that you could go probably give or take below like 0.2. I would say that 0.2 or 0.3. And I also think if you're able to supplement your application in other ways, like demonstrated interest and stuff like that, I think it should be fine, to be honest. A lot of people in my program do not have previous experience, and so I think when I do hear about people who have experience, you hear them talk from a point of passion, and I think that's the kind of classroom that they want to create. technically no, or you can do part-time. I think you can do 20 hours a week, 15 or 20, I'm not sure, if you're on a tier 4 student visa. Yes, I reached out to one professor from college. He was my brand management professor. He fueled a lot of my passion for marketing. He really changed my life, really changed my life. He was one of the professors on that Brazil trip I was talking about, but I did reach out to him and he happily gave me a recommendation. It was really nice. And yeah, then the other one, I asked my ex-colleague at my job to write me one, who's like my mentor in marketing, and she wrote me a really nice one. I know it's really weird because outside of that professor, I don't know who I would have asked in my university, but I think a lot of my friends went through this. I think if you kind of like ask anyone, they'll just give it to you. Usually they have templates, or they'll be like, write it yourself and then like show it to me and then I'll put my name on it. So just try it out. To be honest, it's very variable. I think that I would be genuinely a little bit bored if I was just doing the program. I mean, it would have been nice and relaxing, but whatever. Can't have it all, have to work. So it's really not bad at all. I was so scared going into it. My mom was like, literally, shut up. Master's is so much easier than undergrad, and she was right. You're right, Mom. Okay, you're right. Yes, work-wise, no, legally. No, there is an online option to do it. Even without COVID, there's an online option. Probably honestly took me like 2 weeks, nothing. Like it's total, and I am really like chilled on that. You could do it probably in a week. I only applied to one. I knew I wanted to go to this program in particular. I scoped out all of the other marketing programs. None of them had what I wanted. Marketing is a little bit weird, right? Like we say marketing, but there's so many things that go into it that involve so many different skill sets. There's the analytical side, which involves data. Not really my vibe, but it's something that I wanted to learn. Then there's the very creative side, which is more like design and brand strategy. That is what I want to do, but I'm not the most like talented person, like technical skill wise and creative. Then there's like the middle of like the concepts and stuff like that. So I really wanted something that involved all three of these things, and that's why I chose this program. Columbia, NYU, USC, they all had marketing programs. I did not like their curriculums. If you are into analytics, marketing analytics and stuff like that, which I think is an amazing skill to have, then I think NYU and Columbia would probably be a better bet for you, because this is not analytics heavy. It's definitely more like case studies and conceptual and stuff like that. It's a lot of application-based learning though, I will say that, which I really like. I think it's better. I think you really feel much more like part of the city, but I never studied abroad, so couldn't tell you. So here in the UK, they've just made a rule that you get to have a 2-year automatic sponsorship for work after you graduate, which is amazing. So if I really wanted, I could stay for 2 years and work. I'm probably not going to do that. I might stay another few months just because I love it so much. But as you guys know, I have my own business, so it wouldn't really make sense to just pay rent. Absolutely not. I think it's much easier. UK and Canada, the application processes for uni, like for undergrad and for masters, are much easier. I explained this in the beginning of the video, but masters or further education is something that's very important in my family. So I had to do some type of further education, and because marketing is my field, it worked out that way. I might do an MBA later down the line. No, definitely not. You are not required to work in London after. You can totally dip out. I probably will be doing that. Do you plan on working in London after graduating or coming back to the US? I will probably stay here for a few months. As you guys know, I own my own business, so it doesn't really make sense to stay here and just pay rent. Yes, 100%. I love it here. I literally love it here. I don't want to go back. I just love London. I love how diverse the city is. I love the people that I meet. I love, like, when I walk around, I just feel happy. Like, it's so weird. I really did not enjoy my time in New York City, even though it was always my dream to live there. But here, I just feel so at peace, which sounds super cheesy, but I'm so happy, and I was super nervous to move here. I was like, oh, it's such a big city, like I don't know if it's gonna be okay, but it's 100% okay. I absolutely love it. Transition, I mean, I did live in Canada for 4 years before, so I had already moved countries, even though I feel like Canada and the US are almost the same. The only weird things are like public transportation and accents sometimes can be really difficult to understand, and maybe humor. To be honest though, I have to be real, I haven't met many British people, so maybe if I was in a situation where I was meeting a lot of British people, the transition might be a little bit different because of like, you know, you'd be spending time with people who are very different from you. Most of my friends here, you guessed it, are South Asian and Desi. So, but in my program, I have a friend from Mexico, I have a friend from Lebanon, and a friend from Bombay. That's it, I don't really have any other friends. And then my group is like from China, Taiwan, and then Switzerland. But it is what it is. So I think I have answered most of the questions. If you guys have any more, DM me. I hope this fulfills everything that everyone ever wanted. And yeah, I would highly recommend applying to do your master's in the UK/London. When else are you gonna get a chance to live in London? Seriously, it's a gorgeous city. The buildings are amazing, just fabulous. 100% would recommend it. That's my hot take. And yes, apply, apply, apply.